Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great privilege for me to be presenting this topic, the role of microorganisms in food-related establishments. As we all know, today is World Food Safety Day, and in celebrating World Food Safety, so it's good that all these things have been come up with. So we'll be looking at the role of microorganisms and the myths and the facts and some of the things that we often need to clarify. Okay. All right. So some of the topics that under this, some of the subtopic, we'll be looking at what is food safety, because today is Food Safety Day. What Food Safety Day? We're going to look at few definitions, type of microorganisms, what are these microorganisms, the factors that favor bacterial growth. Somebody has already touched on that, the mode of spread and how to prevent microbial contamination. Okay, so when we talk about food safety, these are a set of policies, procedures, and standards that ensure that food will not cause harm, injury, or illness when consumed according to the intended use. Basically, when we're talking of food safety, we're talking of a safe food in which when we consume, it's not going to make us sick. All right, so now when discussing about microorganisms, these, like the name suggests, these are organisms that cannot be seen with our naked eyes except through the use of microscope, and in some cases through the use of electron microscope, which are more powerful microscope to view some of these microorganisms. Example of microorganism, as we all know, is bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, etc. All right, so now this is where it gets interesting. When we're talking of microorganisms, most of the time what comes to our mind is they are not good, which is not true. Okay, so now let's look at type of microorganism based on their mode of action. Now we talk of symbiotic microorganisms. These are beneficial microorganisms. In fact, most microorganisms are not even harmful. Okay, it's only the few ones that are harmful that are causing a lot of things. When we're talking about symbiotic microorganisms, we're talking of the ones that are beneficial. In other words, like good microorganisms. For example, we talk of lactic acid bacteria, the one that is being used in cheese making. For some of us that we love eating cheese, we talk something like lactobacillus, lactococcus, streptococcus. And for people that love wine, we have yeast in wine fermentation. So these are some of the microorganisms that actually make our life easy. Without these, some of these products will not be available. Okay, so we can know that some microorganisms are very beneficial to our day-to-day life. The second one is spoilage microorganisms. These are the ones that make our food go bad, okay? That spoil the food, that deteriorate the quality. When you see a food that is smelling, the quality is no longer good, okay? That means spoilage microorganisms are in charge, okay? So now, the third one is pathogenic microorganisms. These are the ones that make us sick. And I need to make clarification here. For some of us that when we have food, probably in our homes or in our hotel, where we work, that you take a food and you want to smell if it's still good. Some people will just go inside, chill out thereabout, they open the food to smell. What you are trying to verify is if the food is spoiled, which is spoilage microorganism, which is different from pathogenic microorganism. Pathogenic are the ones that make us sick. That the food is smelling does not necessarily mean is pathogenic. Both of them may be present, but what you are smelling or you're perceiving is the spoilage microorganism, okay? A million salmonella will not smell, which we find in chicken, okay? And if we eat that particular product, it's going to make us sick. So we need to clarify this, that when you are smelling a food, it doesn't mean it's good or it's not. It's only when you carry out laboratory analysis that you will know if pathogenic microorganisms are present. Okay, and we can see some examples like E. coli, Clostridium, Listeria, and the likes. Now, again, let's look at types of microorganisms based on their mode of respiration. Okay, we talk of aerobic microorganisms. These are the ones that require oxygen, like human beings, for them to function. Okay, so these are the ones that without oxygen, they are going to die. So they require oxygen for them to function. The second one is anaerobic microorganism. This one, they don't require oxygen. In sealed or vacuum packed or bottled, all those things, they can still grow while the container is sealed, okay? Now, the third one is facultative anaerobic microorganisms. This one can grow in both oxygen or no oxygen. When there is oxygen, they will grow. When there is no oxygen, they revert back and they start making use of anaerobic environment. And now I want to clarify this. Sometimes some people think that when they vacuum pack, that the product is now safe. Now, when you vacuum pack a particular product, it means aerobic microorganism will no longer grow. But if anaerobic microorganism is present, they will continue to grow, even in the absence of oxygen. If facultative anaerobic microorganisms are there, they will continue to grow. It's only that if you have 100%, if you've been able to eliminate like 60%, and you still have some like 40% that can still do harm to us. So it's better for us to know all these things, then we'll have a better understanding when we are talking of microorganisms. Okay, so somebody has discussed the factors that make bacteria, because when we're talking generally on pathogenic bacteria or pathogenic microorganisms, these are the ones of focus to us because they are the ones that result in food poisoning, foodborne illnesses and stuff, okay? So when we're talking of the factors that encourage their growth, we talk about phaton, food, acidity, time, temperature, oxygen, and moisture. I'm not going to go into details on this because somebody has already discussed it, but it's good for us to know that if we want to keep ourselves safe and our food safe from microorganisms, especially pathogenic microorganisms, we need to probably remove any of these. See that the food is not present, or we make the food a little bit acidic, less than 4.6 or 4.5 pH, or more than 7.5 pH. The time, no enough time. The temperature, we either make it very hot or very cold. The oxygen, we remove oxygen or moisture. We talk about available water. Okay, mode of spread of pathogenic microorganisms. We've discussed it. When there is bad personal hygiene, the environment is dirty, insufficient heat treatment. It's either you don't cook enough or you don't cook at all. Or when we're talking of factory, maybe their treatment is not enough. Leaving food in danger zone for a very long time. When food is cross-contaminated from one raw material to a finished or ready-to-eat product. So these are some of the things that can make pathogenic microorganisms to transfer from one place to the other. Okay, so we've seen something like a picture like this, that we see that if food handlers are not well groomed in their personal hygiene, they can easily contaminate the food. Their uniform is not well covered, is not well cleaned, they have open wound and all these stuff. Okay, so these are some of the things that shouldn't be encouraged in a food establishment. Touching food with your bare hand, you can contaminate the food, bringing your personal belongings into processing area, and all those things. So we've talked about temperature danger zone, the temperature at which we must not keep our food. If not, bacteria or microorganisms will begin to multiply very fast, usually around 5 to around 60, depending on which standard we are talking about, 5 to 57, 5 to 60, 5 to 63. Okay, so if we keep our food within this temperature danger zone, bacteria or pathogenic microorganisms can grow very fast, and they can make us sick either by themselves or through the production of spores or through the production of toxin inside the food, which can make us sick. These are some of the things that we shouldn't encourage, that we can easily transmit a microorganism. And when we're talking of food safety, one of the most things that we want to avoid is to avoid food poisoning, okay, which is mostly caused by microorganisms. Most of these microorganisms are bacteria. Some of them can be virus in case of norovirus and stuff like that, but most of them are usually bacteria. So once we keep our food safe from microbial contamination, then to a very large extent, we need to we know that our food is safe. Okay. I will just, so cleaning environment, as in when our environment is clean, So when we have clean environments that cannot contaminate the food, so this one is very important. How do we prevent microbial contamination? If we know how our environment can get contaminated, then if we flip it, then we're going to have a way in which our environment can be safe from microbial contamination. Good personal hygiene, it cannot be overemphasized. Good personal hygiene, effective cleaning and disinfection, adequate heat treatment, proper segregation of raw and ready to eat, effective training of staff. And this one is very important, effective training of staff, because the staff need to know what they are doing and why they are doing what they are doing. Okay, so we can put everything in place, then we need to make sure that the staffs are well trained so they know exactly what they are doing. Then personal hygiene is very important. Somebody has discussed the issue of hand washing, because our hand in a food establishment is the one that come in contact with every other thing we do. So once we make sure that our hand is very clean, then we cannot transmit a microorganism from one place to the other. So we need to ensure that our hand is washed every 30 minutes or less every time. So these are some of the things that we've been able to put together for this training. Okay. Somebody has discussed the issue of cross-contamination. We need to make sure that we segregate, and so that we don't cross-contaminate from one area to the other. Okay, so this is my short training. If anybody has any question, please let's ask in specifics into probably microorganism, then we'll be able to go into specific. This is just the general overview.